All right. Hello, everybody. Let's see here. There we go. Ooh, that's a big face of Kelsey. My name is Kelsey Doom. I am the president and CEO at the Brookings Area Chamber of Commerce. That video, I had to play it a few times for you because it just, every time I find somebody else that I know in the video, and it's so fun, but it's bittersweet because you see everyone gathered, and I just wish we could be together right now, but we are not. We are working from home. As you can see, all of us are in our home offices. I'm hoping my cat doesn't come up and try and get on camera. But we're just really excited to have you all with us. We have over 63 participants right now, and we expect about 100 people to join, so we're excited. I'm happy to introduce our current chair of the Women in Leadership and Learning Committee, Miss Emily Ports. I'm going to hand it over to her, and she's going to take it away. But first, before I do that, I forgot to mention, if you guys have questions during the program about Will, about anything our presenter says, there is a Q&A tool at the bottom, and we would love if you could submit your questions through that. I will be coming back on to do some Q&A with Rachel, so we look forward to that, and hope you have lots of questions so that we can glean all we can. Without further ado, Emily, I will pass it to you.
Hi guys, I want to introduce myself again. My name is Emily Ports. I am the chair of the Will Committee currently, and we are super excited to have everybody attend this virtual event. We, as Kelsey had said, we sure wish we could be in person and get that networking and all of that going on, but we wanted one last way to wrap up the season and just let you guys know we haven't forgotten about anybody here. We're so excited to be able to bring this to you. And before we get going, I do have to thank all of our sponsors. We will be hearing from just a couple of them here right now. The first one is going to be Jen Bender. She's the Director of Operations from Falcon Plastics. Jen, do we have you available? There she is.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi, Jen. Yes.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it. Like you both said, we wish that we could be in person and delivering this message in person, but Falcon Plastics is a big supporter of Brookings and Will and the mission of Will. Falcon Plastics was started 45 years ago, actually on May 17th, 1975 in Brookings, South Dakota. So we've been in the community for 45 years. Fortunately for us, the owners and founders have been supportive those 45 years of women in business. So much so that as of now, 8 out of our 13 shareholders are women, and 4 out of our 3 senior leaders are women. We have about a 50-50 split of men and women employees. So that's been a really exciting thing to watch over the years, grow and develop, and see those women excel in their careers and make it to senior leadership positions. So just a little bit of a background about Falcon Plastics and what we do. We're a custom injection molder. So we serve markets such as construction, electronics, medical, power tools, business supplies, sports and recreation. We support a lot of local customers such as Daktronics, Larson Manufacturing, 3M, Raven Industries, etc. So we currently have locations in Brookings, South Dakota. That's our main manufacturing, as well as our corporate location. Madison, South Dakota, Lexington, Tennessee, and Portland, Oregon. We currently serve other customers that may be recognizable, such as Yeti, Arctic Ice, Toshiba, brands such as that. So we do a number of different processes. For the most part, we do injection molding. We also do blow molding. Just a little bit about our employees. We have currently 365 employees. About 130 of those are actually in Brookings, and then the remainder are throughout the U.S. And we actually have a global partnership in China that supports one of our largest customers, Daktronics. So we employ 40 individuals there, and that supports Daktronics in China as well. Other additional services that we have: assembly, sonic welding, foam in place gasketing, decorating, all of those additional services that go along with injection molding. But we're just excited to be here. Thank you for having us, and thank you for giving me a little bit of time to describe our background and our presence in Brookings. Brookings was actually selected as the location for Falcon Plastics because of the business climate and the support that it gives to small emerging businesses 45 years ago. So that says a lot about Brookings and what we do to support and grow entrepreneurs and new businesses. So thank you so much.
Jen, thank you so much for taking a few minutes and telling us a little bit more about your business practices and, you know, all that you guys do to support the women in our local areas and probably the other areas that you guys have businesses. So thank you again. Our next sponsor happens to be Century 21, so you get to hear a couple of minutes from me, a couple more minutes from me. Century 21 has been around for many, many years. Currently, we have, probably close to 25 agents in the office. Of those, I believe we have about 15 women. 3 other women alongside of myself are happy to support the WIL mission. Gail Chapel, she has been a WIL staple from the very beginning, I think, in launching WIL. Jill Krogman, and of course, Katie Knutson. We just want everybody to know that, you know, through this pandemic, we are still open. We are taking our clients and our clients' health very seriously. And we would like you to know that if you have any questions regarding real estate, those factual or fictional numbers that you see on Zillow, feel free to give us a call. 692-2100 is our office number. Reach out to them personally if you feel that need. I'll wrap it up from that. Moving on, the next sponsor that we really want to thank is going to be Champion Health. And the reason you're hearing from a few of us is, you know, as everybody knows, we had to cancel our in-person luncheons, the last few luncheons of the year, and these were the sponsors for those few luncheons. And so we really thought it was very important to give them the opportunity to visit with you just a couple of minutes and let you know kind of where we're at in our businesses currently and what we're still doing to serve you. So Isaiah, we will let you take it over, Dr. Crevier.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
We sure can.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Isaiah Crevier. I'm the owner of Champion Health. I'm not a female. So just for everybody that knows, I'm one of the few men that come and attend these WIL luncheons. To be honest, it's been such a pleasure getting to know a lot of the gals that are running the WIL luncheon, as well as the gals from the chamber. Thank you guys so much for what you're doing and what you're supporting. I can't say how much my staff appreciate the events that they've attended. And yeah, we're just seeing just great results from them on what they're learning from the WIL. So we are a chiropractic office located here in Brookings, South Dakota. It was very cool hearing the legacies that Century 21 and Falcon Plastic have. I wish I could say that I had 45 years behind my name, but no, we've only been in Brookings here a couple years. We're actually on our 3rd year. We're a chiropractic office serving families and kids. And we're just so happy to be a part of the WIL luncheon. And we would like to thank, too, the Brookings Chamber has just been putting forth such a big effort to make sure that we can still have these, as well as the WIL committee. So thank you guys for even having this event, because as a sponsor, I think it was very great to have the communication from you guys on how you were handling the events, and also that you are still pushing forward and having it with the current climate that we do have. So we did have something special planned for all of you guys at the event. We bought a ton of essential oils. We believe in aspects of health in every category, not just chiropractic. We want people to detox their homes. So we did buy over 150 essential oils, lemon and wild orange, that are sitting here in my office. We are trying to find ways to get these to each and everybody who is going to attend the event that we were sponsoring. So right now I'm sitting on them all. So we're gonna see if we can managed to get you guys a couple via, whether it's the book club. If you guys want to drop by the office, just say you're with Will. We'll get you the oil, and hopefully we'll get you this gift. So again, thank you very much for allowing us to be a sponsor. I'm going to turn it back over to Emily. Thanks very much.
Dr. Isaiah, thank you again. Essential oils, I know I'll be stopping by to pick those up. Thank you again for your sponsorship for the entire season. We look forward to probably hearing from you hopefully next year again. I'm going to put you on the spot there. So moving forward here, we're going to get on to just a little bit of business before we get to Rachel, our main speaker here. We want everybody to know that we do have open will board positions. We've got several ladies that have decided to move on, whose time has come to an end on the will committee, that are going to pursue maybe some different options. Please let anybody on the will committee know, or contact the chamber directly to apply for that. There should be some stuff coming up on social media as well regarding that. Or you can certainly email the chamber. Will, W-I-L-L, at brookingschamber.org is that email if you are interested in that application. Another exciting note that Dr. Isaiah kind of maybe inclined you to would be that we are super excited to get in front of you this summer, and we are going to continue the momentum of Will virtually, and do an online summer book club. And we are going to be putting out a poll on your screen, maybe a little bit later. And if it doesn't come on the screen later for the poll, we'll send something out at the end of the email or at the end of the event, so you can get your input on which book that you would like to maybe start with for that book club. The books that we have to choose from are those from the summit. So if you remember, we gave you a list of about 10 books that our will committees and some of our speakers thought were very helpful for them in their women in leadership and learning roles as they've taken forward. And so those are the ones that are going to be available. So look for more information on that. Next, we are going to get down to business. Miss Rachel, and Rachel Eichhoff is here to talk about mental health and mental toughness. And you guys are probably well aware, I believe it's Mental Health Awareness Week. Is that right, Rachel? It is. So a little bit about Rachel. She is a graduate student at SDSU, South Dakota State University. Yay, go Jacks. She received her undergraduate degree in consumer affairs with a minor in marketing and advertising. She has a passion for learning and pursued a degree in communications and social or media studies as well. And she's going to talk a little bit more, I believe, about your graduate project. Is that right, Rachel?
That's correct.
So a warm welcome to you, Rachel, and I'm going to let you take over from here.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Emily, and I am truly so honored to be virtually meeting and connecting with each of you here today. And I hope you all are staying healthy and happy during this time. Our physical health is very front of mind right now because of our current situation. However, during this time, it's crucial to also focus on our mental health as well. Personally, for me, I've been focusing on my mental health during this time by spending more quality time with my fiance and our 2 dogs, journaling regularly, doing more yoga than I did when we met in person, and speaking with my counselor. So these are not just actions that you can take during this time of quarantine, but they are actions that you can take to make yourself a more engaged individual within your organization, because these actions, along with others, allow you to strengthen your mental toughness, which is what I am here to talk to you all about today. As Emily mentioned in my bio, I am wrapping up my master's degree in communication and media studies at South Dakota State University. And in this graduate program, the students have the option to either complete a thesis or a project. And I was really drawn to the project aspect because my end goal was being able to provide a service for others, and specifically a service for the community of Brookings. And fortunately for me, I have been able to partner with the Brookings Chamber on 2 of my graduate projects as I finish up my degree. So that's been an immense blessing for me. So these have been so important for me because over the last 5 years, I have fallen in love with Brookings, and more specifically, the people and the women here. And I wanted to offer a service to these incredible people, each of you, that will hopefully have a positive impact on your lives in the same way that you have had on mine. Whether I've worked with you or for you, shopped in your store, practiced yoga alongside you, or even connected on Facebook, individuals in Brookings have really had a profound impact on shaping me to be the person I am today. So today I'm briefly going to be covering mental toughness, what it is, how it differs from resiliency, how it's connected to theory, don't let that scare you off, it's quick and easy, and most importantly, what you can do to strengthen your own mental toughness and have a positive impact on the workplace. So whether you're a small business owner, president of an organization, or a recent graduate finding your way forward in the world, strengthening your mental toughness can help you improve your overall mindset in the workplace. So this is based on previous research done about the concept of mental toughness. And based on previous research, I have created a definition geared more towards the workplace. So my working definition of what mental toughness is that it is an effective strengthening method that allows individuals to proactively seek out opportunities for personal growth and equip themselves with tools to enhance their well-being. In short, focusing on your mental toughness is like adding tools to your toolkit, which allows you to face challenges more confidently. So this concept of mental toughness interests me because all of the previous research done on it in academia was conducted with athletes. And I'm a former SDSU athlete, so that really just sparked my interest. And I wanted to shape it for people in the workplace. Because despite maybe not running laps on a track while you're at work, we are still mentally and very often physically engaged, and there's a lot of pressure of us in the workplace. So it's similar to being a competitive athlete. There is very little research conducted about this concept of mental toughness within my specific communication field, which makes this incredibly exciting for me. People often ask or use the word resiliency, and they ask what's the difference between being resilient and being mentally tough. And Webster Dictionary defines resiliency as an ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. And so mental toughness differs from this as it's something proactive rather than reactive. And we can take steps proactively to confront challenges rather than be resilient and recover from challenges. So now that we have that baseline understanding and origin of this concept of mental toughness, I'll very briefly connect it to academia and theory. Don't let that scare you off. The concept of mental toughness can be viewed through the communication theory of memorable messages. So simply put, the theory of memorable messages is that individuals carry pieces of conversations with them that have an impact both on their personal and professional life. These can be both positive or negative messages. So this connects to mental toughness because the words we share and communicate with others, whether that's verbally or written, impact every aspect of our lives. For this reason, it's crucial to write positive affirmations, build meaningful and supportive connections with the people in your workplace, and ask your supervisors or customers for feedback. So academia, theory aside, I promise to be brief. Understanding mental toughness is important as it allows you to use your own power, really empowers you to take care of your own well-being and remain more confident, calm, and relaxed while in the workplace. And that was the findings from the studies done on athletes, that athletes with stronger mental toughness were calmer, confident, and more relaxed while performing their athletic talents. So now that we understand what mental toughness is and why it's important, we're going to shift the ways that you can personally focus on your own mental toughness and strengthening it. So there is a mental toughness questionnaire that will be sent out in on a document in your email, and you can also find it on my website. This questionnaire allows you to assess your own mental toughness. You don't have to do it right now, but I highly suggest you all check it out after. There's also a post-assessment questionnaire that allows you to really reflect on your results and tailor which tools I'm talking about today towards where you might be weaker. So if you decide to take this questionnaire, please email me. I would love to see and discuss your answers on a one-on-one basis to further my understanding and research on this topic. However, whether you take the questionnaire or not, you can still take steps to strengthen your mental toughness. There will be an infographic also emailed to you that has these, but I wanted to briefly touch on them as well to provide a little bit more detail than the infographic does. So I have 5 listed on the infographic. However, you know yourself, you know how you work. If you find other ways that work better for you, I know one that's not on the list is attending conferences and webinars like this to increase your understanding and education. That's a fantastic tool to strengthen your mental toughness because you're more confident and grounded in the knowledge you possess. However, I'm going to touch on the 5 that are on my infographic and on my website. So the first one, the way to strengthen your mental toughness, is to write down affirmations. Whether you enjoy reading quotes every day, setting a daily intention, or writing down your goals, these are all affirmations that you can surround yourself by and continue to remind yourself, which connects back to that memorable messages. Having those messages, those positive, uplifting messages, continues to strengthen your mental toughness. A second way to do this is by organizing your space. And notice that I say organize and not clean. There is research, and it's provided in a link on another document that will be emailed out after this, that shows that clean doesn't always mean that you work better. I know Kelsey, the president of the chamber, works much better in how she works, and it's not always the most tidy. However, it works for her. And she works in circles. So the closest items to her are what she needs to do first, and then she works out. And that's important because she knows that that works best for her. I also wanted to give a little shout out to ID8 Architecture here in Brookings. They have an amazing blog about how to organize your home workspace that would be perfect during this time. And the blog will also be linked in the document that will be emailed to you as well. So finding a workspace that really works for you helps to mentally toughen yourself while you're working from home, which I know most of you are, and it can be a bit of a challenge. So the third aspect is building your workplace relationships. Normally, I would suggest creating a walking group or having an office happy hour. However, that's not really an option right now. And so we adapt during this time of social distancing. So whether it's connecting with coworkers during a virtual cocktail hour, attending an event like this one, or even FaceTiming one-on-one, this really allows you to build those connections. There's additional research that people who feel more connected to their fellow employees have longer retention with the organizations and also feel a more meaningful connection to their workplace. And during these times, try to avoid talking about work and focus more on getting to know each other and bonding on another level. So a fourth way to strengthen your mental toughness is moving your body. This can include joining Kelsey at Brookings CrossFit in the morning and watching her throw down her heavy weights, or going to Isaiah at Champion Health Chiropractics. But what I'm really focusing on here is moving your body while you're working. So that's focusing on little movements. So my boss and owner of Prairie Soul Studio here in Brookings, Megan Nelson, would be an incredible resource if you're looking to learn more about office or chair yoga. Oftentimes people think chair yoga is just for the elderly. However, chair yoga is a fantastic exercise that you can do while you're watching a webinar like this, even small movements like wrist circles. And the final one that I want to touch on is speaking with a counselor. This is sometimes an avoided topic. However, because it's challenging and it's hard to be vulnerable and open and discuss your emotions. However, there's a significant amount of research about how powerful talking with a counselor can be. And if you're lucky enough to have the option to have a workplace counselor, that's even more beneficial. Many counselors are now doing telehealth, which allows you to connect with them virtually. I know counseling has significantly strengthened my own mental toughness, which is why I include it in the toolkit. If it's not something you feel comfortable with, that's fine. This is a pick and choose, not try to do all. So find the method or the tool that works best for you. So these are just a few steps that you can take to strengthen your mental toughness, and whether you do one or all of them, or find your own that adapts to where you work and how you work, you will be taking achievable steps to better who you are in and out of the workplace. I really want to challenge all of you listening today to choose at least one of these tools that works best for you and your lifestyle, and focus on incorporating that into your daily work time, especially during this time of social distancing and when there's a lot of unknowns in the world. It's important to focus on what you can control, and you are powerful and you can make these choices to control and strengthen your mental toughness during this time. As I wrap up, I just wanted to thank Emily, my previous boss, Kayla, and the WIL board members, and the rest of the chamber members for having me here today. I also want to thank my graduate project advisor, Carla Hunter, for her guidance, support, and love during this process. And finally, I wanted to thank each of you for tuning in today. I hope you take aspects of this presentation to heart and really focus on strengthening your own mental fitness. If you want to learn more information about mental toughness, if you need marketing or campaign help, or want to discuss and share your survey information with me, you can reach out to me and my partners, Jade Larson, Kirsten Barrett, and Alexander Eigen at Alex and Ray Consulting, which should be linked in the follow-up email after this presentation. So thank you so much for your time and support over the past 5 years, and I hope each of you and your loved ones continue to take care of yourself both physically and mentally during this time. Thank you.
Awesome. Rachel, thank you so much. And it's so funny. You're just like so put together, and no one would even know how just wonderful and young and refreshing you are. So fun fact, Rachel is my neighbor and is constantly bringing me goodies and keeping me fed, and it's lovely. Really threw me under the bus with my piler versus filer.
I think it works.
Leads me to a question, because as females, many of us have this need to be neat, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm blessed with a personality that I just don't always care. I care what people think, but I don't always care what people think. So how do you get over that if you are a piler versus a filer, and that phenomenon, to kind of accept that, yeah, I work best in a mess?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the confidence and having that toughness, and this works for me and it might not work for you. I like to have a very clean space, but Kelsey, that's not how you work, and just understanding and respecting that this might work for you, might not work for me, sort of balance. And there's research to support that having a cluttered or unorganized workspace does not limit your creativity. And so that should just, there's research supporting that you don't have to be neat to be productive or creative.
Awesome. Thank you. So we have a lot of questions coming in. I have one, I'm getting them from a couple different areas. So the first one is, how can mental toughness be differentiated from, say, perseverance or determination?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think perseverance and determination are more like, I am perseverance, like it's more of an adjective, whereas mental toughness, I like to think of it like that analogy. It's a toolkit you can pull from. You don't have to go to counseling every single month, but if you're having a more challenging time, going to counseling will be an added tool in your kit of mental toughness to make you more mentally tough. And so I think that's kind of the difference. You can be resilient and determined, but you can also work on strengthening your mental toughness. The same way you work on your physical body and go to CrossFit or do yoga at Prairie Soul, kind of just an area you work on.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And thanks for the shout out to all our chamber members. You're bringing them up like nothing. I love it. Okay. So another question here. This is so great. Do you host a podcast? If not, do you have one that you recommend?
Like I said, towards the end, me and another chamber member, Kirsten Barrett, and 2 of our other graduate students are actually embarking on doing our own consulting program or organization. And so through that, we've talked about doing our own podcast. Currently not in place, but we're excited to maybe give it a try. I'm obsessed with podcasts, but I often tend to listen to more political podcasts, so I won't get into those or promote those. However, I do really love to also mix in fun ones. So It's Been a Minute by Sam Sanders is one from NPR. I love that it talks about current events. He usually tries to stay away from politics, and he interviews authors and actors, and it's really a very cool conversation. So that is one that I really enjoy, wraps up my week nicely. There is one called Hysteria. Once again, it starts off a little bit more political. However, if you want to skip over that, I really love, they're all female panels, and they just talk about female issues, whether that's some of the more controversial ones or just being lonely in the workplace. They've talked about just loneliness as women in our 30s. I'm not in my 30s, but women in the workplace, how do you make friends and stuff like that. So if you want to listen to the politics, you can. If not, I highly recommend some of the other topics they discuss about women and creating friendships.
Awesome. Thank you. Another question here. Do you think social media can impact your mental toughness?
Yeah, I definitely do. And I think it can really go both ways in how you use it. I am very empowered by some of the content that influencers put out about body positivity and about making friends with women through those virtual channels like we are now or on social media. However, my friends and I jokingly talk about being in spirals of social media, or I'm spiraling on Instagram. And so I think really being mindful and purposeful with the time we spend on social media, that's been something that I've had to catch myself on during this time of quarantine, because I go on Instagram and I realize an hour later that I've just spiraled on there for an hour. And so just being very intentional with the content you're taking in, and if there are people on there that aren't fueling you or uplifting you, and really focusing on their messages, those memorable messages, whether you read it briefly or even see a picture that will be implanted on you, and you'll take it with you. So being very mindful of the messages you're taking in.
I love it. Okay. Let's see. We have a question in the chat. What techniques do you have for when you have a true breakdown, when your anxiety gets the best of you and you need to figure out a way to get back on track?
Yeah, I think the 2 things that I personally do, and this works for me, it might not work for you, but I talk with my counselor. I have my own counselor here in Brookings. She's incredible, and I started with her in July, and I noticed a huge difference in my own mental toughness. There's been some bumps. Obviously, I'm in grad school, and life's been a little chaotic lately. And so having someone to talk to that makes your feelings and emotions feel valid is so important. And then also for me, that constant practice of yoga has been so important. And Prairie Soul's been doing it on Facebook, and they also have their own platform now. And so whether it's with Prairie Soul or YouTube, finding your own classes, being consistent with movement. And it doesn't have to be being a boss like Kelsey and going to CrossFit. It can just be getting outside for 15 minutes and getting fresh air. That's been what's really helped my anxiety. And then lastly, just connecting with people who love you, I think is most important. Oftentimes when you feel anxious or have anxiety like I do, you tend to shut down and just, I want to be blue. I want to be just down in the dumps today and not letting yourself self-isolate, reaching out to those you love for help.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Another question here. What are some great online resources regarding mental toughness training for men and women in the workplace?
Yeah, that's a great question. And like I said, this is a very new concept. The only training out there is kind of what I'm doing right now and the research that I have on my website. And like I said, most of the research done was about athletes and how they overcome challenges during their training. And so I'm really looking, if you guys like this, I would love to work more with each of you. If you do the questionnaire, I'd love to see it. I'd love to talk with you so I can continue to expand and then hopefully make a training for how to improve and how to help your employees improve their own mental toughness in the workplace. Great question.
I love it. Yeah. And we'll be sending you guys all the information that she's referring to will be sent out, including with your contact information, I believe. And so I would just highly urge you to reach out. You've got a great resource right here in Brookings. You know, during this COVID quarantine, we can do some virtual training for you. She can probably do it a little more personalized as well. Another question here. What is a good way to reach out to others to help them cheer up and improve their mental health? What are some, maybe we can set a challenge to our attendees to do something in the next 7 days to help somebody else's mood. What are some ideas, some little things we can do?
Yeah, little things. Megan Nelson with Prairie Soul, she knew I was having a rough week, and she actually dropped a little gift by my front door, and it was a nice surprise for me. So you don't have to spend money and buy people gifts. It can be as little as commenting on their Instagram if they post something. If they're posting on their story and maybe they post a quote that's a little bit like more dark, be like, hey, are you doing okay? Reaching out to people, being like, hey, I know sometimes your friends might self-isolate when they're feeling anxious. Be like, hey, we are connecting today at 2. We're going to FaceTime. It's going to be blast. We're going to have a dance party, that fun stuff like that. Just finding ways to connect to people, whether that's leaving them gifts, baking for them, reaching out via social media, or forcing them to FaceTime. I think that's the best way to really connect people and make people feel like they're not so alone. And also just being open to vulnerability. If you yourself are like, I'm always happy, I'm always great, it's going to be harder for someone who is feeling anxious or depressed during this time to reach out to you because they don't want to feel like a burden to you.
Yep, absolutely. You know, when I first moved to town, I mean, like you said, you mentioned making friends as a woman in your 30s is hard. And I had a hard first few months here. I went to counseling. I reached out and talked through everything. And I think when people are willing to share that, it really does make it a little more, not that it's not acceptable, but makes it a little more acceptable for people to accept, yes, maybe I do need help. You know, and you brought by a little flower, just a little thing on May Day, like just little stuff like that. So things that you can do for free. It's so much fun to get that. And many of us, myself included, need to do better about thinking about others. So this last question, I'm actually going to bring Emily in on this one. Emily, how can we learn more about the Will Committee and all that they do?
Oh, great question. So to learn more about the Will Committee, I would first and foremost reach out to somebody that is currently on the board. I would reach out to the chamber, or I believe that the chamber website has a Will portion that really states what our mission is and kind of what our focus is of Will and moving forward. I would encourage anybody that has a passion for learning and for leadership to really get involved. And that brings me to the Will board positions. We do have quite a few board positions. I did see a question that those we would like to have those applications turned in the next couple of weeks so we can make decisions. We do have plans to move forward, and we would love for those new members to be a part of that planning process moving forward. Yeah.
Awesome, perfect. Okay, so I'm not seeing any other questions come in. Last chance for people to type something in. It's so great. We have 77 people on this webinar learning about mental toughness, and it's awesome. Emily, I'm going to leave you to close, including the post webinar survey. You'll talk a little about that, which we've seen a couple chats on that, but I'll hand it over to you. And also, Rachel, I just want to thank you from the Chamber. We just appreciate you so much. We have this scheduled to be an in-person training, and you've been so lenient and flexible with offering this, and we love it. Thank you so much for doing this. So, Emily, take it away.
Yep. Rachel, we want to thank you as a WIL committee as well. You are just a breath of fresh air, honestly, and I look forward to everybody getting your tips. She did send out the toolkit that's going to go out to everybody afterwards. So thank you again, Rachel, and I look forward to hopefully interacting with you maybe on a more personal level as well. Moving forward, a quick wrap up here for us. You can see to the side in the Zoom webinar chat, there's a lot of information kind of coming over there. One of them is a post survey, post-event survey. Please let us know what you think of our first Zoom meeting, or our first little Zoom webinar here. We've never done this as a committee before, and so your feedback is greatly appreciated to let us know any changes we can do. Tell us what we did great. Tell us what didn't work out for you. In addition to that, we have, when you log off of the Zoom meeting, you will get a survey. That's going to be one of them. Another survey is going to be the book club. We are super excited to bring this book club to you, and we want your feedback. What do you want this book club to be about? What interests you? So that survey too, as you log out of the Zoom meeting, should come across for you. If you don't get it, reach out to us so we can get you the link to that information there. The attendees, thank you guys for spending this last 45 minutes with us, and we appreciate your support during this unprecedented time that we're in. We see it over and over again, but we are all in this together, and it's important, as Rachel said, to find those ways for affirmation and to make sure that you're reaching out to those that maybe aren't as social as they used to be, because that might be a clue for hey, I used to see her and I haven't seen her, so just reach out and say hello. Sponsors, Jen with Falcon Plastics, thank you guys so much for your sponsorship for this season and for these luncheons. Dr. Isaiah, thank you as well for your sponsorship of the lunches. Century 21, we are always happy to help and be involved. We would ask you to look for some more information. We are going to have WIL. It may be virtual to start, and it may move into some luncheons. We just kind of have to see how all of this kind of plays out. But there will be a WIL season next year, and we want all of you to be involved in that. And so look closely to the social media and to the emails the Chamber is sending out, so you guys have all of that information in front of you for that. There's going to be a kickoff meeting, and we're excited for that. The board positions, please apply. If I have missed anything, board members, I certainly apologize. This is my first posting as well. But any last minute thoughts from you, Rachel, before we?
No, I just want to thank you all, and WIL, Chamber, and each of you participating. I know this is a different time, but I am very grateful for your support, and I look forward to hopefully hearing from a lot of you about your own mental toughness and continuing this conversation so we can build momentum from here and really create a strong workplace mental toughness for Brookings and for all of our organizations. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Rachel. So again, just as a reminder, there is one survey that's going to come out, and it's going to cover the event, also ask you about the book club and get your feedback on that. Other than that, I think we're going to call it a wrap for our season. We also will send another survey. I know I'm talking about surveys just left and right here, but we just really as a committee want to know what you guys want from us. You know, what do you want moving forward? And so please take the time. It only takes a couple of minutes to fill those out and let us know looking forward what you would like and how we did this last year. But you guys take care, and I hope to see everybody in person very, very soon. Chamber of Commerce, Kim, Kelsey, everybody else, Molly, who am I missing there? Kirsten, Ashley, I was just going to say Ashley. You guys are so instrumental in putting on these webinars and the driving force behind some of these things that we're doing, and a huge thank you to you guys as well. So Emily Ports signing off.
Thank you all. Have a lovely rest of your week. Thanks for coming.